All right.
Oh, at least I got to do this.
Call the meeting to order.
And you did it very well.
Thank you. I tried real hard. No need to do the gavel. Oh, I had I got that part done.
Good work.
And disregard that phone
Trying to
call.
stall.
That was your whole training day. How to do the meeting, everything. Supposed to
Oh,
tell me
no,
something?
it's mine.
Wake up, Paul.
Yep.
Sorry for the tardiness, dealing with an emergency here. Alrighty.
Need a roll call. Crystal.
Bring the order, the meeting of District 511 to order. Committee of the Whole for August 12th. Roll call.
Nelson. Simpson.
Yes.
Trojan.
Yep.
Goldsmith, yes. Kudia.
Here.
Blake.
Here.
Salto. Here. Gorski.
Here. All right. What do we have for our agenda today?
Board
Anything?
member attendance by means other than,
Yeah, I don't think so. Right? Nope, nope. John's not going to join by remote probably, unless he's notified you. I haven't talked to him in days. So.
okay.
Communications and petitions.
We have no communications and or petitions.
Recognition of visitors.
No recognition of visitors at this time.
Okay. And anybody have any comments on the minutes of the last meeting?
Yeah, I want to question, is this the minutes that John, Trustee Nelson had some comments on that, have they been incorporated or is it a different set of minutes?
Different set of minutes.
Huh?
I believe that was a different set of minutes from last month,
Okay,
June minutes.
June minutes?
And he did not provide any
No,
additional words or
Okay.
wording.
all right, thank you.
All right. Any general presentation?
No general presentations?
Okay. Teaching and learning, communications discussion, board liaison, Trustee Goldsmith.
Dr. VP Snyder.
As you know, we're quickly approaching the beginning of the fall semester with weekend classes starting this Saturday and all other classes starting next week. So we have a lot of enrollment fluctuation at this point. As of this morning, we were, for fall, 8.6% ahead of last year, 98% to budget, and 94% to goal. If we consider summer 2 and fall combined, we're at 101% to budget at this point and 97% to the stretch goal.
What does it compare against a year ago?
So for fall only, we're 8.6% ahead of
The
last
total-
year.
the total summer and fall.
9.7% ahead of last year.
So it's down a little bit from your report,
Oh, just a little bit, yes.
but still almost
Still
10% ahead of a year ago. Very
Yes.
good. Good, thank you.
Thank you.
I like the tie. The tie. I like the tie.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good evening, trustees. So I'm presenting this afternoon the non-credit workforce development. This is the presentation of our metrics for this division. We have started this effective 2024. So this we are going to present this afternoon is a comparative analysis between FY24 and FY25. So let me start off first by saying for Trustee Goldsmith that non-credit workforce development consists of truck driver training, collision repair, CNC machining, tech works, customized training and development, and continuing education. And when we talk about continuing education, we talk primarily about the Highway Construction Careers Training Program and massage therapy. This evening, all the aforesaid will be presented except continuing education. I'll present that at a later date. So as I referenced earlier on, the data presented today covers both FY24 and FY25 so that they could have, or there could be, a comparative analysis for various programs. So I'll start off first with customized training. So during 2023 to 2024, RVC engaged over 16 businesses and companies in customized training. In 2024 to 2025, we expanded to several new companies that we engage in customized training, such as TH Foods, PCI Pharma, DSB Technologies, and so forth. Between FY 2024 and FY 2025, we offered 29 training sections and 46 training sections, respectively. So in FY 24, we had 29 training sections. In FY 25, we had 46. The number of participants between FY 24 and 25 also increased. So in FY 24, we had 260 participants, whereas in FY 25, we had 341 participants. The revenue streams also increased between FY 24 and FY 25. We had in FY 24 $292,751 in FY 24. And in FY 25, we had $318,224 in FY 25. So this represents a 58% increase in the number of training sections we had between FY 24 and FY 25. There was a 31% increase in the number of participants that we trained between FY 24 and FY 25. And there was an 8% increase in the revenue stream between FY 24 and FY 25. I'll now shift to non-credit workforce development, and the four programs I'll talk about is CNC machining, TechWorks, truck driver training, and collision repair. I'll start off first with CNC machining. So CNC machining had a starting enrollment of 29 students in FY24 and 30 students in FY25, basically the same between the two fiscal years. In FY24, 18 students completed and 24 students completed in FY25. In FY24, we had 73 NIMS credentials that were earned and 74 in FY25, almost the same number of credentials earned between FY24 and FY25. In FY24, there were 65 interviews total, while in FY25, there were a collective 159 interviews. This is because the college reached out to more industry partners and students were visiting more shops for exposure. In FY24, there were 34 jobs offered, and in FY25, there were 41 jobs offered. In FY24, there was a revenue stream of $215,833, and in FY25, there was a revenue stream of $265,000.
So I got a question. So 41 jobs were offered in 25, but you had 74 earned credentials.
Yes.
Did some students obviously had more than one credential?
Yes, they do. They take about 5 of the NIMS credentials.
Did all the students who graduated get jobs?
Yes, all of those who wanted. There are some students who opt not to go on, and they opt to do different things. So, you know.
They all got jobs?
They were offered jobs. Not
They
all
were
of them
all
took,
offered jobs, okay.
Yeah, but not all of them took the jobs that they were offered.
I have a question too.
Sure.
Well, actually, just a clarification, and I know this, but I'm drawing a blank. Will you refresh my memory and remind me what NIMS stands for?
National Institute for Metalworking Skills. That's his credential for CNC machining, National Institute for Metalworking Skills.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, so now I'm moving to truck driver training. So in truck driver training, we had a starting enrollment of 139 folks in FY24 and 105 in FY25. Now you would notice enrollments slowed down, or there was a dip in enrollments for truck driver training because, remember, at the ATC, the board had generously given, I think it was $2 million for students to get tuition waivers. Those waivers ran out. So when those waivers ran out, it did affect the number of students who were able to enroll because students relied on those tuition waivers. and those scholarships to be able to enroll in programs. So what I did was to bump the enrollment back up was I went out and I looked for some competitive grants for ICCB, and I applied for the IBT grant, the trade school grant, and the non-credit workforce development grant. So those three sets of grants brought in, close to $1 million, and that has helped us to be able to provide tuition waivers for students so that they are able to continue their journey of study. So those numbers should not be dipping anymore because there are no more hurdles to face when it comes to tuition. 130 students completed in FY24 and 99 in FY25. That will be obvious because if you enroll less students in the previous year, you're going to have less completions too as well. Similarly, in FY24, there were 117 students who earned their CDL and 99 who earned their CDL in FY25. Again, that's because the number of students who enrolled was much less. So that's why there's a dip there too as well. Gross revenue for FY24 was $675,601, and total profit was $192,685. In FY25, gross revenue was $479,718, and total profit was $118,349. All right. I'll next focus on TechWorks, which operates in the county jails. So TechWork occurs in the county jail. It saw a starting enrollment of 59 in FY24 and 53 in FY25. In FY24, 48 people completed, and in FY25, 40 people completed. In FY24, 98 NIMS credentials were earned, and in FY25, 83 NIMS credentials were earned. The gross revenue was $115,000 for FY24, and the gross revenue for FY25 was $115,000. That's because we charge a set fee to the prison with a contract, so that's why the revenue would be like that. In FY24, the profit was $18,399, and in FY25, the profit was $54,606. The profit was larger in FY25 because in FY24, we had used money to buy supplies and to repair the machines at the county jails too as well, so that dipped in to our revenue streams. Completion rates, I must say, are more affected by participants being transferred or released. Each group and each year is unique based on their court dates and based on their convictions. So that varies. So this group, we really don't have much say or control in terms of who is in and who is out because it depends on a number of variables and the internal machinations of the prisons, to determine who stays and who goes. Then I'll focus on collision repair. So collision repair started with 8 students in FY24 and 13 students in FY25. The rationale for these numbers are that we had 2 cohorts this year compared to 1 cohort in FY24. So 13 students completed in FY25 and 7 students completed in FY24. 104 certifications were obtained in FY25 and 35 certifications were earned in FY24. 8 students acquired jobs in FY25 and 6 students acquired jobs in FY24. The surge in certifications acquisition is because we added 3 additional certifications per student for FY25. So if you take into account, we had 13 students, and the initial cohort took 5 certificates. We added on 3 more, so it's 8 this current cohort took. So that's 104 certificates. The cohort before from FY24, there were 7 students. They just took the 5 because the advisory committee didn't tell us about taking the additional 3 until this year. And so that's why we only have 35 certifications for that previous cohort. And the certifications are from ICAR, and ICAR stands for the Inter-Industry Conference on Auto Collision Repair. That's what ICAR stands for. That's where they get the certifications from. Are there any questions? Yes.
My only comment would be is you can take all this data, put it into a bar chart format. For me, at least, much easier see the trends rather than reading and then trying to go back and forth between this sentence and that sentence.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
I have that. I can give it, let's give it
I
to
mean,
the
a bar
president.
chart to me is
I'll
much
give it
more
to the
readable.
president to give to you. That's not a problem. I have the individual ones too. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so along those lines, something that I can understand gross revenue, and I'm not asking for it now, how you calculate total profit. And I'm not asking for it now. It's part of that bar chart type of stuff. Put the cost in there too, and then show how you're coming up with the profit. So my next question, how do you see the downtown campus affecting enrollment? Keeping it the same, driving it up, for truck driver training specifically?
I think it's fulfilling one of the tenets of our strategic plan, which is access. So we live in a very diverse and a very wide community, and I think having a campus down there will help people who don't want to travel all the way to Belvedere for truck driver training to be able to access it somewhere closer.
So numerically, do you think it will sustain the numbers or grow the
Yeah, I
numbers?
think it would. I think the numbers would grow. I think it will grow. I don't see it affecting our numbers in Belvedere at all. No, I don't see it affecting it.
Well, the question, well, I don't see the population of people coming to our campus increasing, the number of people in that age group in the downtown area. I actually see it decreasing. And those people are actually further out than some locations. I would agree that it's probably closer than Belvedere or the ATC. It's just, you can't necessarily spend all your time chasing where people are moving and stuff, though. So,
Yeah.
Isaiah.
Talked about the grants to be able to, because when those grant waivers went away, right, the threshold to have students enrolled was lowered in a way, correct? From what I understand.
Well, students didn't have access because they couldn't afford to come to school.
Okay. When the new grants, the $1 million grant waivers that you had gotten, did that increase when that increased the threshold, were those numbers sustained to like the limit of that threshold for student enrollment?
Well, I say we had a longer waiting list. For instance, with truck driver training, we had a 3 to a 5 month waiting list of number of people who were wanting to get in. And they were only able to get in because their tuition was going to be accounted for by this platform or by this vehicle.
So there was still like a huge demand. It wasn't because
Yes, there was a huge demand. I mean, the demand didn't move away. What moved away was the fact that people wanted to come, but they couldn't afford.
Okay.
So that's why I sprung into action, and I decided to write for 3 grants to bring in $1 million to be able to see how I could get that from happening. And that's what I have done for the last 2 years, bringing in a lot of money to the college to help with that tuition for students and to buy modern equipment and things of that nature.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all the questions I have.
I got another comment here.
I'm good.
Just to make it sure, okay.
It might be interesting for you in your spare time to take a look at these various segments and see what kind of capacity do you have. In other words, in the CNC machining, you only got so many machines that have to be trained for so long. If you were to do all the math, what would be the capacity of how many students could you train? Truck driver, you only got so many trucks, takes so many hours on the road, off the road. What does that capacity look like? Yeah, I think it'd be interesting to see, are we pushing capacity or are we halfway there on each one or just what? On your spare time, figure it out.
What I can tell you with CNC machining is that we use the lab extensively in the morning, in the afternoon, for customized training for Woodward and for other industry partners who want the 8-week CNC machining program. And we have a steady group or a cohort of these students in the CNC machining program who we have is either anywhere from 13 to 16 students who we have for 6 months. We have them occupying the lab too as well, from 8 to 4 every single day. Yeah.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Tonight I'm sharing about our adult education program here at RVC. Currently, adult education programming is offered that leads to a high school equivalency or in English as a second language. We are proposing a new model of adult education which will place an emphasis on dual enrollment, allowing students to complete their adult education programming while pursuing a credential at the same time. We currently fund our programming primarily through grant funding. The number of classes and the length of classes rely on the funding that is received through the state and federal grants. The college is positioning itself that as federal and state grants diminish, the college will be prepared to fully fund the program. If we could go to the next slide. Great. As mentioned, we offer programming leading to a high school equivalency or in English as a second language. There are bridge courses that are career exploration courses that also support basic skills. As students are almost finished with their programming, they are then encouraged to consider moving to further education, either through credit or non-credit programming. Next slide. As we transition to more institutional funding, we are proposing a new programming structure. This new model will integrate career pathways into every single level of adult education, being much more strategic and introducing a dual enrollment pathway with both non-credit and credit opportunities. This should help increase their completions in the program, but will also increase their job opportunities and possibly lead to more enrollments. Next slide. The college is adjusting to the decrease in federal funding and plans to increase efficiencies through a restructuring of the program. This blended approach of state, federal, and institutional funds will allow the program to be nimble in their response to our community need. Next slide. We will be able to offset any decrease in funding. With this new funding structure, we have budgeted up to $375,161. Originally, we expected not to receive any federal funding. Now we find out that we will receive funding with additional conditions attached. We don't know what those conditions are. We will not plan to spend the whole amount allocated under the institutional funds, but we are prepared to spend as needed. This plan will enable us to continue to be responsive to our community and provide the adult education that is needed in our region. Thank you.
Many of the courses are going to be taught downtown.
Many of the courses will be taught downtown. I don't have a specific percentage because we try to have classes downtown and also maximize classes offered out throughout the community to reduce transportation barriers.
I think the downtown numbers would rise dramatically.
Yeah, we're looking forward to having that new space.
And we'll pick up any funding shortfalls from state or federal.
I'm
Question,
sorry?
Gloria?
Yeah, I think Dr. Stewart partially answered this question. You know, there are some agencies and organizations that have grant writers. Do we, I think I'm hearing that you all are the grant writers, or how does that work? Or do we have people that actually do that here at RVC?
I would like to phone a friend with Heather, since it's in Heather's area.
Okay. So I have a grant coordinator in my office, but her job is not necessarily to write all the grants. So she helps us to find opportunities, and she does help with some writing, but mostly with reporting and keeping people on schedule and some of the more technical aspects. So like Dr. Stewart has written several of the grants in his area. Amanda's team has written some of the grants, and then they'll go through a review process in my office. So we don't necessarily have a grant writer, but we have a grant coordinator. We also have a lot of help in the finance department when it comes to reviewing budgets and that sort of thing. Does that answer your question?
It does. Thank you so much, and I appreciate it.
That's it.
I have a question.
Sure.
So are these programs, the adult basic education, the adult secondary education, and the ESL program, are those all being condensed into one as a dual enrollment program?
No, we will have to still offer these various levels because they have various levels of their capabilities. So we will still continue to offer adult basic education, adult secondary education, ESL, but they will also be a part of a career pathway that will lead to some sort of a success, whether it's a credential, certification, something of that sort.
Okay, so if someone wanted to just do ESL, for example, right? Would they still be able to do that?
Yes.
Under this? Okay.
We're not gonna prohibit anybody.
Okay.
We just want to provide the opportunities.
So it's not like I have to go and do a GED in order to do ESL.
Correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
John?
What is the total budget and what is the increase that Rock Valley is going to pay for this new program? I guess my main questions and concerns.
Okay, sure. So our budget for FY26 this year is approximately $658,000. The increase is approximately just about $285,000 is the maximum additional funds that we would spend out of the institutional funds. Again, I'd like to reiterate that we don't anticipate spending that full amount. We do fully anticipate receiving some level of funding from the federal. We just don't know. Everything's so fluid. We don't know exactly what that amount will be right now.
So, I look at this, I guess, this is $1 million program or close to $1 million program then, is that right?
Yeah, it's just under.
Okay. And so maybe this is a question for Ellen more, but have we budgeted this, and B, where is the money coming from?
The answer to that question is, at the time when we were preparing our budget, we're not aware of all the federal issues we're going to have. So that additional $285,000 that she referenced, that would come out of the institutional funds if we needed it, we did not receive the federal funding, would come out of that $3 million contingency that we have in the budget.
Okay.
Anybody else? I just want to say thank you to everybody who does, with the help of a coordinator, the grant writing. I know sometimes grant writing is an art, and if you're successful in getting it, that's a pat you on the back. So thank you very much for that. So
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. Right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
That was funny. You do a presentation on Ozzy.
next up. Well, just on the information, okay, yeah. So I was asking for the information on the music program. It's in your packet. We're not going to actually have a review on it. If you have any questions on it, you can steer your questions to Dr. Spearman, and he'll steer it to the appropriate staff. So let's move on to the finance discussion. Board liaison, trustee. Am I missing any? Oh, Gloria?
Yes. We've got a good program for you. Go for it.
First up this evening, we have the purchase reports. Item A and B are both part of the athletic field upgrade project that had been already presented to the board earlier this summer. And so far, the board has approved the expenditures for the baseball and softball fields. So this is for the soccer fields. So item A is team reel for $837,971.04 for the base groundwork and field preparation for the new turf installation. Field Turf USA is item B for $555,052.30. This expense is for the turf material and installation of the prepared groundwork for the soccer fields. These are the same two vendors that are doing the baseball and softball fields. Item C is Studer Education for $129,300. This expense is for professional development services. The agreement was approved last month, BR 8302. This is the first year of a 2-year agreement with 2 additional 1-year extension options. Item D is for standard.
I'd just like to remind the board, so we've already voted on the
agreement.
core of those. So on the agreements, we're just voting on the details at the end of the month. So it's not new spending, it's spending we've already kind of voted on that we finalize at the end of the month. Thank you.
Right.
Kristen?
So can we separate it out? I mean, because if I want to vote no, I mean, I know it's already in, but I still am going to say no to C, but I don't want to say no to all of it.
You have to make a motion to amend the purchase agreement. Yes?
Or first, we could separate it out.
Separate it out.
Yeah, I would separate the turf, and separate Studer, and then unless somebody has an objection, group everything else, so. Any other questions on that?
Keep this one the same and just separate, just pull out Studer.
Right,
Yep.
right.
I mean, I
Okay.
know it's a done deal.
I don't care if it's a deal.
You know.
Change it.
All right, item D is standard industrial, $742,500. This expense is for the equipment and installation of the automotive lifts for the downtown training center. Bid 25-17-D08 automotive lifts downtown received 2 submittals and were opened on Wednesday, July 30th. Standard industrial is the lowest responsible bidder. Item E is a to be determined on your report. However, that bid has been opened, so RFP 2504, computer equipment for life cycle, received 8 submittals, which were opened on Friday, August 8th. 2 of the vendors were disqualified because they did not provide the bids for the equipment we were seeking, or that equipment was not going to be supported by our IT department. And the other one did not provide bids for all of the equipment requested. So this bid will be going to Entree Computer Solutions for about $678,000. Items F and G are both sub-awards for the Strengthening Community Colleges Grant. The board approved the agreements last month, so this is approval to move forward with the payments. The amount of the awards are through April 30th of 2028 when the grant ends. So this funds will be spent over multiple years. McHenry Community College is item F for $1,061,468, and Highland Community College is for $1,060,899. The last item on the purchase report is for Associated Controls and Design for $72,768. This expense is for the repairs of the rigging system for Starlight Theater. The loft blocks and wires supporting the lighting system need to be replaced, along with maintenance to rebuild the motors that run the rigging equipment and replacement of some arbor shoes. This is a not to exceed. Any questions on the purchase reports?
I'll start down here. Anything? John? Oh, Bob. What's our Bob?
On item A and B, the soccer field, and you may need to talk with the foundation, but is there any opportunity to raise some funding via a sponsorship of the field, naming rights of the field?
We can have that conversation with the foundation to see if that's something they could do,
I
possibly.
mean, it doesn't have to be $1 million, but it could be $250,000, $500,000, something?
We're planning to start that discussion.
What?
We're planning to start the discussion this month at the Executive Council, just to see if it's possible, and then after that, we would bring it to the board if the Executive Council is interested.
Yeah, I wouldn't reach out to like Scott's Turf Builder or something, but yeah, you know, okay.
'Cause I think I know where they're at on the downtown funding commitments. So I think there's still some money in the community to maybe do a soccer field and maybe the baseball field.
well, Bob, let's not leave money on the table, you know?
That's right.
That's right. I mean, I think there'd be enough interest in athletics since
Yeah.
we're pretty good at it. So, yeah,
Okay, please follow up on that for me.
good point, Bob.
Brittany's aware.
John?
Can we scroll down a bit to, okay, keep going. All right. The grant expense, that's from a grant we administer?
So we are the lead on the SSC4 grant supporting community colleges and or strengthening community colleges. And then Highland Community College and McHenry are sub-awards under our grant. So yes, we will be administering the grant.
And, you know, I see some impressive numbers there. What's our share?
I believe the total grant is $5 million. Total grant's $5 million.
Well, I'm all for it then.
Okay.
We approved it last month.
Well, why is it up again? Oh, the
Because you're
subs are up.
approving the actual funding.
Okay.
We approved the contracts last month.
Correct.
Now we're approving the funding.
All right.
Seems like we got a lot of that going on this month.
Yeah.
All right. If there's no other questions on the purchase reports, I'll move to the cash and investment report.
Okay.
Okay, operating cash and investments decreased $672,000 from June to $106.3 million as of July 31st. This is due to just our cash flow cycle.
Oh, jeez.
The percentage of operating cash and investments is at 99.54%. The decline from last month is due to the larger fiscal year 2026 budget as the denominator. So we have a new denominator in this number. Working cash funds decreased as funds have been used for the Health Science Center third floor projects, so that is sitting at $1.86 million. And capital funds increased approximately $1.4 million to $82.2 million as we continue to receive property tax receipts from the various counties and the net 2025 bond proceeds after paying off the 2025A debt certificates, which settled on July 28th. Are there any questions on the cash and investment report?
Any questions? John?
So, Ellen, spell it out for me. Did we go up or did we go down? And I understand what you've said, and I trust that you would answer yes to the question, are we in good shape? But if you could put a little icing on the cake, I'd appreciate it.
So our total cash, if you included operating cash, working cash funds, and capital funds, is up.
Okay?
So yes, we are in good shape.
Okay.
Okay?
I think the true measure, in my opinion, is on the other side of the paper, the little bar graph. Our target is, where is it, 30 to 40% coverage?
No, we don't have a target for operating cash balance as a percentage of the operating budget. The 30 to 50% is the net operating funds, the equity.
Funds over the expenses.
No, the 30 to 50, that is our cash balances to our budget, operating our budget.
And percent coverage of the operating budget.
Right, but the board policy that you're referencing of 35 to 50%
Yeah.
is to the fund balances.
Okay, so what would this number target be?
We don't have one.
Oh, we should set one. Then it gives us all insurance, because I always flip over and see that number, and as long as it's above 50, I'm okay.
Well, when you look at it that way, you could say if we are at 50%, we have enough coverage to cover 6 months of expenses.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
You got, at that number, you got 6 months of coverage if we got no money from anywhere.
Well, that's if every month was an equal balance throughout
Yeah, of course, but I'm saying over 6 months. No money coming in, you got 6 months of coverage.
Is that true?
Yeah, if we're at 50%, when we're at this rate, we have almost enough coverage for 12 months.
To me, that's a good way of looking at all these numbers. See what kind of coverage we
And that is if we spend all of the budget.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
All right, the last item in your package is the quarterly report of purchase orders between $10,000 and $25,000. That was included in your package for information purposes.
All right, any
Thank
other
you.
questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you,
job.
Ellen.
Thank you, Ellen.
Operations.
Mr. Jenks, please.
Good evening, Board. The first item on the agenda tonight for me is the amendment to the Board Policy 3-2010, job posting and hiring. This is the second reading. As the Board may recall, this policy amends 3-2010 and gives the president, that policy currently gives the president the authority to approve new hires and to assign employee start dates, but the policy also provides the board is to approve such reports, which creates inconsistency. Based on discussions with the board chair, the board attorney, the administration is recommending that the board amend policy 3-2010 to clarify that the board does not need to take action to approve such personnel reports and to have the reports be informational.
Okay.
The next item on the agenda is a lease item. This is for property at the ATC. We have a little over 8 acres that can be farmed if we so choose. This original land was being farmed by a farmer before we purchased it. Currently, the space was designated to be utilized for something, but that item hasn't materialized as of yet. And at this point, we could turn it back into a lease situation with a local farmer. The main goal for that, we'll get $800 a year from the farmer, but we would save $8,000 a year annually when we have to mow the property and keep it looking nice. So the lease is attached for your reference if you want to look at it. It's the recommendation of the administration that we accept the lease so that the farmer can take care of the land, farm it, and we don't have to mow it. The tenant would pay for all of the, as shown in the lease, the tenant would pay for all of the taxes. They would pay for all of the fertilization and everything. Basically, the college is just responsible for being the owner of the land.
Any questions? Don?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Rick, so as I understand it, our net gain is $8,800 a year. Is that what you're
Yes, sir.
positing? And were we approached by the farmer who wanted to farm it, or how did we go about?
So, being a local Belvedere person, I was approached by multiple farmers wondering why the property was not farmland still. Farming in Boone County is kind of a thing. And
No kidding.
it is a thing. And yeah, so I've spent my whole life in Belvedere. I'm what's called a BNR. So I was getting information out from the community, and we had different farmers that were calling, wondering if the farmland was available, if they could, put something together to possibly lease it or somehow use the land for crops. So based on all of that information, we put out a request for information, because this is money coming in. It's not a bid that's going out, to see if anybody was truly interested, because people say a lot of things, but you have to find out if they're actually truly interested. We did get one farmer that was interested. He actually lives nearby to the site, so I'm sure that's why he is willing to take on such a small field. It's an option for us to try and save a little bit of money yearly if the board so chooses.
So if the farmer farms the 8 acres and finds that it's not feasible and says he doesn't want to lease it anymore, what kind of expense will there be to get it back into condition where we have a nice field and mow it?
So it was farmed before, and when it was left, when the farmer extracted all of the crops out of the area, we didn't do anything with it. We didn't till it. We didn't do anything. All we've done is mow it. So I suspect if the farm lease does not work out, it's a year-to-year lease anyway, just so that we can change it if we need to, or if something comes up where we need the land. We will simply just wait for it to grow, and our subcontractors have equipment to mow that. That field is not. It's not a normal place that you'd go walk around anyway. They use special equipment to mow it because of the undulations in the ground. So
we haven't really done anything to it so far.
No, except mow it.
Any other questions? Gloria?
Do we have a say-so on what crops they can plant? I mean, not that we should care, but I'm just want to make sure it's something legal.
If you look in the lease.
You want to grow marijuana there?
It's pretty obvious.
So if you look in the lease under item 16, crops, no illegal crop shall be planted on the farm property. This includes cannabis or other related plant.
All right.
Quite frankly, I'd like to see sunflowers.
I must not have seen that.
No, that's okay. No, I thought of that. So.
Thank you.
It's my background, kind of.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Fields.
Next item is the personnel report. This item, as you can see at the top, there's a note indicating that if Board Policy 3/2010, job posting and hiring, is approved, the above recommendation will be removed from the personnel report and ultimately will become an informational only for the board.
Same report, we just won't take an action on it. So.
And the 2 items that are on there is we're looking for a director of nursing that should hopefully be appointed by the time we come back in 2 weeks. And there's a departure of 1 chemistry professor, effective August 11th.
Any questions? Don?
Is my memory failing, or have we been looking for a director of nursing for a while?
I'm going to phone a friend. Dr. Smith?
It has been a couple of months. We actually have offered, and they have accepted the position.
Oh, so
It just didn't make it in time for the cutoff, so.
Okay. And then I'm always concerned when I see science professors leaving, and I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. All right, wonderful. The next item is the annual employee personnel update, and I'll be turning that over to Dr. Huntley to give her presentation.
Good evening, trustees.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I stand before you this evening to present the fiscal year 25 annual personnel report update, as noted in Board Policy 31090. The data presented in this report demonstrates an annual snapshot of various components of our employee work group for the past year. At the end of this fiscal year, the college had a total of 391 full-time employees. This total reflects a 3.46% decrease from fiscal year 24. As we discuss separations and changes, please note that we have had a large group of retirements this fiscal year, which impacts our employee population. There were no recognized causes, specific benefits to retiring, or SERS incentives that contributed to this number of retirees. 7 of the 18 retirees were faculty members, who have contributed extended service, and we are appreciative and grateful of their efforts in nurturing and developing our student population. As we reflect upon our appointments, the college documented a total of 93 appointments. While this number has declined from last year's appointments, please know that college leadership carefully evaluates the needs of the college within each position. In efforts to sustain our mission, our core values, and our pillars, we are committed to hiring employees that contribute to access, educational opportunities, and cultural excellence. In turn, we also ensure that we provide training opportunities for these employees that help us to be able to continue to grow and meet our regional needs. If you'll note, 52 of the 93 appointments were actually reassignments of current employees, which affirms the college's commitment to providing training and advancement from within, in addition to bringing new hires. We had a total of 57 separations, of which I mentioned before 18 were retirements. This reflects 31% of our total separations. We can boast that we have employees that embrace the RVC community and commit their career to the college and its success. The full-time turnover rate was 14.6% this year, indicating a slight increase in turnover. Let me explain that we must again consider the larger number of retirees that we had this year. If we take a look and evaluate our turnover rate without retirees for the FY25 year, that rate actually decreases to 9.97%. If we look at that same evaluation in FY24, the rate was 11.4% with retirees and went down to 9.6% without retirees. And then additionally, in FY23, their turnover rate was 12.8%, including retirees, but would be 6.7% without retirees included.
I think the distinction if I could go ahead.
Go ahead.
The distinction you made, I think, is very important because your chart, a couple of pages, and it's important to see the turnover of retirees, which is kind of a natural turnover, compared to people quitting for various reasons. So distinguishing between those two, I think, is very important, and maybe you should show it both ways on this one chart on page 6, because your total turnover includes retirees. Well, it distorts it with 18 this year. It distorts it. Like you said, it drops from 14 to 9%. So, I mean, an important distinction to make.
Thank you.
In any report, I would say if you're going to break out retirees, just break out the retirees and have everybody else. I don't want to know why somebody else would have left, whether it was a separation from the college or if it was somebody quitting, but a group of those people and then retirees separate, because I don't think it's our business necessarily to know that group. Is that all right with you, Bob? Just as long as we pull out retirees and leave the other?
Well, I'd like to see the retirees. Right. I'd like to see the other group as well. So I'd like to see both groups. Trends.
And I'm just saying, in the other group, I don't need to know whether or not it was somebody quit or it was a separation.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Thank you for the feedback. If I can continue on. Upon reviewing our employee demographics, we also note that a decline in our Hispanic and Asian employee populations more than other groups. The Asian employee population declined from 5 to 3 individuals, while the Hispanic employee population declined from 14 to 9 individuals. We will continue to monitor our disaggregate demographic data and evaluate ways to recruit a diverse pool through community networking and engagements. We consistently see a balanced gender representation among most work classifications. Females represented 58% of our work employee base this year, while males represented 42% of our employee work base. As previously noted, throughout our culture surveys and service excellence surveys, we are continually evaluating ways to provide service and resources that help our employees to grow, develop, and thrive. I'm proud to say that our Golden Eagles Leadership Academy has expanded this year to include our gray tier, in which we're able to provide training opportunities to even more employees than we have done before. Our second cohorts of blue and gold also have graduated or completed their second cohort this year, so we're proud of that effort as well. Human Resources wants to ensure that the physical, mental, and emotional well-being of our employees through health and supplemental benefits are met. We have conducted a benefits survey this spring and will use those responses to inform our open enrollment elections for this fall. As a department, Human Resources continues to seek ways to serve in excellence and respond to the needs of our employees through organizational structure, documented procedures, and added exposure to the community to recruit and retain top talent. Thank you. Any questions?
Question? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good job.
John, you had a
That's all right. I don't like turnover.
Go ahead.
All right, the next item, let me flip through here. The next item is an update on I'll wait for it to get there, is the update on the downtown campus. The basic presentation here is some pictures of the project as it's moving forward. One of the things to note is that we are what they call swinging steel down at the site. I have some pictures, but ultimately I have an aerial shot that I'm going to show you at the end of this presentation to give you a better view of the site from a different angle than you would normally see it. So the project is moving forward. We're making great time, and we are keeping the price of change orders reasonable, in my opinion. We're about 1% right now, which is very good considering where we're at. The main items that are coming as proposed change orders are we're switching from pavers to a concrete sidewalk as you enter the building. This actually is coming as a change order here, but it's a savings in the landscaping bid. So it's going to cost us $1,539 to make the switch, but we're going to save about $20,000 in the landscaping. So that's the first change order. The second change order is they missed a couple of ADA tactile warning strips on a couple of the sidewalks, so we had to add that for $800. In addition, there's an area of basically what I call no man's land between what the state is redoing, what the city is redoing, and what we are redoing. That area was not going to be fixed, so we are pulling that into the project to make sure that that area, which is basically Rockton and Chestnut, will look as nice as the area surrounding it. The other item, if you recall, in the Downtown Learning Center, I actually called these hair dryers. But we also found in the Downtown Training Center that the hand dryers did not have power run to them, so we had to do that. The final item is we are eliminating some furring in the Downtown Learning Center electrical rooms that we found was not necessary for a credit of $2,500. Any questions on the change orders?
Start down here.
All right. I do have a quick video. Harley is going to pull up here shortly. Oh. There it is. Double click on that. And if you can make it a little, there you go. So this is a view of the downtown training center. This is actually looking east from the west. That'll be where. It worked every time we tried it in the office.
Of course.
Sure it did.
Yeah.
Try reopening it one time. So that was a view looking west, or east, I should say, of the downtown training center. In the background, you can see that, don't maximize it, just leave it like that. So this is the downtown, like I said, this is the downtown training center. This is where the automotive doors will be, and to the left is the area that will be the collision repair, if you recall in the drawings. In the distance behind, you can see steel being erected. This video was actually taken about 10 days ago, and the steel is much further along, and we will actually have our final beam placement ceremony Friday, August 15th. So this gives you a nice perspective, but they're moving so quickly. A lot of that to what you're seeing right now has changed as the steel has been erected in that location. So this gives you a nice overall look at the site. You can kind of see where the building is going to be in the downtown learning center. And then to the south, you can see where all the trailers and stuff are. That will ultimately end up being the parking lots for the different buildings. And that area to the south of the downtown training center you see in the background will also be a parking lot where all the cars are parked. So I just wanted to kind of give you a different perspective of the downtown campus and show you some of the progress that we have made. Does anybody have any questions regarding it?
Looks good.
I'll start, then go to Bob. Then Kristen. Bob?
You calculated how many parking spaces?
Yes, we have. Do I remember what it is? No, but we can get it to you.
Okay. Kristen? John?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I had a good question, too. So we have two buildings because we couldn't build one because of the utilities, right?
In order to remove the utilities down Rockton Road, there is a large water main that would have cost us, if I remember correctly, don't quote me, I think it was like $3.5 million to move that one water pipe. And then you had to factor in sanitary, gas lines and others, and it was going to cost, I think it was like $5 million, so we chose not to.
Okay, I understand that. And the, I know you calculated the parking spaces. I know that. So the, here's my question. Are we still on track for, weren't we planning to open in the summer of June?
August 16th, 2026.
Okay. That's our set date. Are we on track for that?
Our goal is to have substantial completion in June so that we can do finalizing and get everything in place before the August. Because I don't want to be substantially complete the day before classes start, because substantially complete does not mean the building's ready.
So substantially complete by the end of June?
Well.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay.
Not a question, but just a comment. I was at a festival at Lovings Lake Park, which is in Rockford's west side. I had several people approach me who are really excited about the west side campus. And as they're watching it grow, it's kind of like the excitement is growing. I mean, this has long been awaited, and people are excited about it. So we're on our way.
I have a large amount of people who comment to me about it and how excited they are. So.
Yeah, we're on our way.
Yes, we are.
Thank you.
I do have one additional change order. It's for the HSC project. This is actually, you'll see there's PCO 7 and 8. You'll see that there's 2 listed. We approved 7 for the almost $3,000 for a left swinging side light and new door that was needed for the project that was missed. They also quoted us a slightly different door with a different swing, which is PCO 8, and that one was rejected because we accepted 7. We still, we had a $203,600 contingency, and we stand currently at $200,111 available in the contingency. Any questions about that?
Say that again. We had a $200,000 contingency and we're down to 2,000? Is that what you just said?
No, we had a $203,000 contingency, and we're down to $200,111. So 200,111.
Okay, so we've used a mere 3,000. We have 200,000.
Roughly 3,000.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. My last item that I have is the facilities event. We had a lot of things going on. Some Dr. Spearman will talk about and at a later date, so I'm not going to steal his thunder. The main thing that's coming up for us is the start of the new school year. That's going to have a lot of activity and events. I do want to put it in there, although it wasn't on this list when we printed it. The final beam ceremony, again, which I mentioned earlier, will be August 15th. It's a Friday, and it'll be at 1 p.m. Final beam ceremony is a tradition amongst the steel workers of placing the last steel beam in a building, that being the Downtown Learning Center, and they will be placing that beam. Now, anyone who wishes, particularly board members, if you wish, the tradition is that you sign the beam with either your name or some saying or something you would like to have added to the building forever. And if you'd like to do that, you can come down and sign the beam before it's lifted into its final resting location.
Is that before 1 or at 1?
The ceremony starts at 1, so we'll be signing, giving people time to sign and things of that nature. And the beam will be lifted once everybody's done signing. They're not going to just.
Well, in other words, if we want to sign, were we supposed to be there at 12:30 or something?
I don't know,
You
right?
wanna
1
be-
o'clock. Yep, 1 o'clock.
Be there at 1 o'clock, but it's not a long program. It's more of an informal,
Right.
celebratory signing of the beam. So I would get there on time, right at 1. By 1:30, we may be done.
Depending on
I
how
have
long
my
it takes.
pen. I got my pen ready.
We'll
You're gonna have
have
your pen ready?
markers. We'll have markers there.
Marker.
They might work a little
I got a marker.
better.
No, mine's already ordered.
Just don't give John an opportunity to speak, otherwise it'll be 2:30 years.
Look who's talking.
What? I've been trying not to talk all night.
I do want to point out the week after classes start is what we call our welcome week. That's a good week if you want to be at campus to come out and see the festivities that Student Life puts on for the students during the week. That starts that starts on August 25th, and there's different events throughout the week. Any questions or concerns on?
Gloria?
I was just curious, on August 26th, it says, "What's the Tea Tuesday?" What is that?
I can answer that. So what the Tea Tuesday is just about events between, it's like a little get together with students in the student lounge where pretty much students talk about what's going on around the school and, who do I not like and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, no old people.
Not allowed.
Any other questions?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rick.
Okay. Else under that. Okay. Let's move on to other business, unfinished business, new business. Other business.
Thank you, Chairman Gorski. I have a few updates I would like to bring to the board's attention. About 2 weekends ago, I participated in the Kevin Rice Memorial Bike Ride. And Kevin Rice was a fallen police officer about 24 years ago, I believe, about
right.
Yes, and his brother Elmer has been creating this ride with a friend of his, and a friend rode his bike from Madison to the downtown, to the Criminal Justice Center, basically 157 miles in honor of the number. So for the last 15.7 miles, I was able to ride my bike with several police officers. We probably had about 30 or 40 people riding with the police officers, making sure, leapfrogging around the street, making sure that like it was like a processional, making sure we were able to bike safely there. We were able to come on the campus and gave them opportunity to see the alumni on the wall upstairs. So some of them, his family members, took pictures of Kevin Rice as well. We just spoke briefly there. And then we went back and went to his gravesite where he was buried next to his mother and talked there. And then we went to his park that was named after him, that was on 1300 block of Preston, before we went back to the 9/11 remembrance site, where we also took photos and things of that nature. Some people gave dollars for the foundation as well, and I want to just thank Brittany Freiberg for her help in facilitating to help to organize this with Elmer Rice, and they plan to do something much bigger next year for the 25th. Other than that, I want to invite, we have a couple of events happening, and I wanted to make sure we get them in front of the trustees to see if you are able to participate. The week of the 18th, August 18th, first week of the semester, we have greeters, and typically at this time you select maybe an hour or two that you want to greet. They start at 7:30. So that hour would be 7:30 to 8:30. The last one would be 4:30, I believe, to 5:30. And you identify a section. You let us know where. We'll identify the section for you. And my goal is to make sure that somebody else is with you so that you can greet the students. And if they have questions about where they're going, you'll feel comfortable providing the students with direction, what buildings they're going to, and things of that nature. To me, it's just a fun opportunity to engage with students. So I believe that email was already sent. Tomorrow morning, you'll receive that email regarding the greeters. Also, we have Professional Development Day. That will be Tuesday, September 2nd. This is our annual Fall Professional Development Day. We have various speakers. We have a keynote speaker, plus we have breakout sessions. The keynote speaker is Bing Liu, who is an alum, which was the last alum that we placed on our wall as well. So we're excited about hearing his story as well. And I want to invite you, you'll get the agenda before or no later than the Friday, August 29th, right before Labor Day. But come to the entire event or pick and choose the time frame you want to come, follow the agenda, and feel free to show up whenever you decide. It's really the last few years been very positive. A lot of faculty, staff, administrators have been there, and we continue to try to improve it each year. Last thing I want to share, Growth Dimensions reception. You should have received that email today, this afternoon, and if you're interested in going, please let us know. Just respond to Ann's email. That's going to be on August 28th, but we need to know no later than this Friday. So please share, or Thursday, please share that you're going and the meal that you want as well. And then I believe Bob has a question.
Oh, that end your,
That's it before I hand it over to Rick.
okay.
I have a quick question.
Okay, Gloria first.
Just, Dr. Chairman, did you say it's been 24 years
Yes,
since Kevin died?
Kevin Rice, yes. Next year they'll do 25th
Thank you.
celebration.
You have a question, Bob?
Yes, I know all the trustees have received an invitation to the Growth Dimensions dinner. But the thing is, the keynote speaker is Janice Fadden. I don't know how many remember Janice when she ran the Economic Development Council here. She was by far the very best economic development leader that this region has ever had. A true marketing person. Unfortunately, she's now, I guess, well, no, she's still working as a consultant, and she gives seminars, and she's written a book about strategic planning and whatever. But she's a very, very good speaker, and as I said, she was she was really missed when she left the region, left her job. No one stood up, no one's come anywhere close to what she was. I would encourage you to be there.
Other questions, comments? All right.
And after Rick, that would.
This is new business, kind of, day old.
Yeah, it's pretty new.
2 weeks old.
Yes. So, board, I'm back in front of you tonight. Well, not to give you not good news. We have a situation that has developed in the JCSM, or the Jacobs Center for Science and Math. We had a part that failed in the air handling units, and we contacted our architect firm, OPN, who then contacted our engineering firm, which is called IMEG. So OPN Architect, IMEG Engineers. They've looked through the situation, and I want to give you a brief update on what has occurred. This was emailed out to all the board members earlier, but I'll give you a summary of the information. So what happened is there's a item called a desiccant wheel, which is inside one of the air handling units that serves the JCSM, and it stopped working. The purpose of this wheel is to help the air handling unit control temperature and humidity in the building in an energy efficient manner. We learned about the problem about 4 weeks ago, and took us about a week to troubleshoot it, and then we went out to our subs to try and find out an approximate price. It took them a long time doing some research and development to learn about how much the cost would be to replace it. That cost to replace it, we did receive a quote. The least amount of quote was for approximately $120,000. So that obviously is higher than our $25,000 threshold for bidding. So the purpose of the letter that was written by IMEG is to ask the board to consider the option of bypassing the bidding process and using the emergency exemption that is allowed under ICCB. The reason for this is that particular part is crucial to the operation of controlling the building temperature, humidity, and pressure. During the time that the wheel is broken, the unit will struggle to maintain temperature, humidity, and pressure in the building, causing discomfort to students and staff. If the college proceeds with typical bidding process, it will take approximately a month to develop the bid documents, 2 months to conduct the bid, and there's a lead time of 3 to 4 months for the part. So if the college can proceed with the 2 quotes that we have received, we can eliminate the design and bidding time, cutting our time in half. Secondly, if we go through the entire process of design and bidding, the project will extend into the heart of the winter, where it will force us to replace the unit during cold conditions, putting the building at extreme risk of freezing during the installation of the equipment. There also, during that time, until the part comes in, the only way we're going to be able to get by is we're going to have to run the other units much harder, at nearly 100%, in order to try and keep the building somewhat reasonable. This will add wear and tear to the equipment that is there that's already also 15 years old. So the longer we take to replace the part, the more damage will be occurred with the other items in the building. So we went out to 4 local vendors. We did receive 2 prices back, one from Hartwig Mechanical, which was $119,248.79. The other was Nelson Carlson Mechanical for $129,229. In addition, I contacted our attorney, Matt Gardner, who not here tonight, but we talked with Matt and explained the situation to him and all the things that I've basically explained to you. Matt believes, in his opinion, it is a valid and just reason to use the emergency clause for a no bid so that we can move forward to replace the part. In addition, we have spoken with Board Chair Gorski about the situation, and he has given approval to move forward with it. So I wanted to make everybody aware of that situation. Does anybody have any questions?
Just like to recap. So we have an emergency repair. To get it done sooner in a time frame so that we don't actually have to shut down the whole HVAC system in that building and expose it to possible pipe freezing, water freezing, and the like. You're asking for an emergency purchase. You've gone out to 4 vendors that would normally meet our responsible bidder ordinance anyway if they were bidders on a formal bid. 2 of them responded, and you're going with the lowest one so we can get the order in the works, so 12 weeks out they can get the part in. And to me, that seems reasonable. Sounds like an emergency now, and if we do it during the winter, then it's also another, possible emergency. Correct. So driving up the possible costs. So, all the vendors that you contacted would have met our responsible bidder, so they would have all been, if any of them had been awarded under that, it would have been fine. So start down here. John, do you have a question?
Yes. I don't know how long you've known that whatever part it is that we need to order, why don't we just order it and then go out for bids? That's one question I have. The second question I have is, did you approach Miller Engineering? I didn't hear their name mentioned.
We approached these 2 companies. We approached Helm, and we approached a 4th company. And it's not here tonight. I don't remember the name of the 4th. I don't know that we approached Miller Engineering. I know we approached 4 companies. And as far as the part is concerned, we didn't know how much the part was going to cost, and none of the local vendors that we talked to knew exactly where to get replacement parts for this item. This item was a brand new technology when it was in JCSM, and they've been putting them in since in many buildings, but this was actually, I believe, the first one IMAG knows of that has failed at this point. And so it was a learning curve for everybody to figure out how to get the part, how much it was going to cost, and how we install it.
Rick, there's no other way to say it, but, we're interested in solutions and not descriptions of problems. I think that's a fair statement.
Well,
I appreciate your effort.
John, I was advised that they've known about this, not this particular part, but the problem for just about 2 weeks. Even if they started the bidding process 2 weeks ago, it would still put it out close into a time where it would jeopardize the HVAC for the building. Then they went out to 4. They could have gone out to 6, whatever. In addition to going out to those, the vendor also of the part has to certify that the people can install it, and both of these folks can.
Understand, we didn't know exactly what part to even order. So I couldn't exactly order a part if I don't know what I'm supposed to order. That was part of the reason we were leaning on our local vendors to try and assist us. They just recently came back with the price, $120,000, and these are the parts. We didn't know what the parts were going to be until then.
Okay, well, what we spend terrific amounts of money, and 120,000 seems reasonable.
It does, but I can't spend it if it's over $25,000 without your guys' approval.
Okay.
So what they're asking is for, they're going to be going ahead and doing it as an emergency, but it's going to come back to us for a vote. And 6 of us have to vote for it to approve the spending.
Three-quarters majority.
So, and will this be on the agenda for monthly meeting? Okay.
And I believe, Crystal, you're out that meeting? Yeah. Gloria, are you expected to be here right now?
As far as I know.
Okay. The rest of you? So, if you have any questions that you need to vet and work them out of the system, I'll get to you about. Let's get them out because they're going to order it anyway, all right? Here's to the public. They're going to order it, okay? If we don't vote for it, we're still going to have the part, and we're still going to get it installed. So, okay. Up.
I was just going to say, if this is truly an emergency, we need to shake our head and say, hit the part.
Right.
So it sounds like we have board consensus to move forward.
I just have a question. So there's a second part with that as well that does the same operation as the one that failed, correct?
No.
No?
This descendant wheel is actually only in one air handling unit. And so what we are going to do is override the other air handling. So there's 2 air handling units.
Yeah.
One has a descendant wheel, one doesn't.
Okay.
We're going to override the existing one. We're going to go into the system and force it to run to try and cool the overall temperature going into that air handling unit above and beyond what its normally capacity is.
And how long can you be able to sustain that for until it doesn't become manageable?
It's like trying to predict when a car is going to break that you run at a super high speed for a very long period of time. That's 15 years old.
Yeah.
It might last 6 months. It might last 5 years. It might last 2 weeks. We don't know.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, so we have general board consensus ahead. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So one last update.
It's just a save the date.
Yes.
January
31st.
January 31st for the board retreat. Yeah.
Yes.
If you have an issue with it, let us know. We'll talk about it. That's it. So we're going to go into closed to discuss under one category only. I'd like to entertain a motion to adjourn to closed session to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, and dismissal of specific employees, specific individuals who serve as independent contractors in a park, recreational, or educational setting for Section 2C1 and that's it. We don't have any leases. So we're just going to go under that order right now. And
So moved.
I got a motion, got a second?
Kristen.
Kristen, second. Roll call.
Nelson.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Trojan.
Yes.
Goldsmith, yes. Trudia.
Yes.
Blake.
Yes.
Salto.
Yes.
Gorski.
Yes.
Motion carries.
That update, got one other thing. I think we just.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll. Are we back? We have enough people to be back? We're reconvening to open session. We didn't make any decision. We actually didn't get very far in anything. So the next Board of Trustees meeting is August 26, 2025 at 5:15 p.m. The meeting will be held in the Performing Arts Room, PAR Room 0214 in the Educational Resource Center on the main campus. And as a special note, I'm asking all the trustees to give me a heads up, like the day before the meeting, if they think they won't be able to make it there. We have a vote that, based on what we know what the attendance will be, that we need a majority. I mean, not a majority, a unanimous vote. Something that means. What?
6 votes.
Yeah, but only 6 of us will be here. So we'll need everybody. It needs to be unanimous.
Oh, Bob, don't be.
And then the next committee of the whole meeting is September 9th, 2025 at 5:15. The meeting will be held in the Performing Arts Room, PAR 0214 in the Educational Resource Center on the main campus. And I also want to remind board members that we tentatively will be penciling in a board retreat on January 31st. If you have any questions or concerns about that date, let us know at your earliest opportunity, and we'll talk about the agenda in a future meeting. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Nelson, seconded by Kadia. Roll call.
Nelson.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Trojan. Goldsmith, yes. Trudia.
No.
Thank you.
Blake.
Yes.
Salto.
Yes.
Gorski.
Yes.
Motion carries still.
Water, wait.